For the second day in a row, a lot of blue out there for drivers. How much of this is going to stack up, and when will we finally see it come to an end? Karen?
All right, Ben, also first at 4, back in court and getting emotional. We'll tell you what's happened today to the suspect in a dangerous stunt on I-94. President Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi show no signs of calling a truce. We have their first fighting words since the president's acquittal. All next, first at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, we are tracking another wave of snow that could slow down your evening commute. So if you are waiting for someone to get home, they might take a little longer. Let's get over to Ben Bailey and what is happening right now.
Yeah, Karen, just within the last hour or so, we've really started to see this snow intensify, especially in the northern half of the area. So just about everything north of 96, 696. You can see how those shades went from a lighter blue to a darker blue pretty quickly. This is accumulating snow. It's dropping visibilities below a mile. This will slow you down for the drive tonight. And it looks like it's probably going to be with us in some form through about the 6, 7 o'clock hour. So this could be snarling the commute as we wrap things up tonight. Temperatures are below freezing and will stay there. This will be all snow. Again, we're going to see it into at least the intense accumulating stuff by about 6, 7 o'clock. And beyond that, we're just going to see a few nuisance snow showers that are going to take us into the midnight hour. More could be coming tomorrow morning, and then we got to discuss the weekend all in a few minutes. Karen?
Thank you, Ben. The man charged with doing donuts on I-94 in Detroit is back in trouble again. 22-year-old Devin Kronk has been out on bond after pleading guilty last month to disturbing the peace charges. Prosecutors say that didn't stop Kronk from filming himself driving with a group doing the dangerous stunts again last weekend. Well, today, he broke down to tears when the judge asked him about his actions.
I know that, there's no excuse anything that I've done. I know if my father was here, he wouldn't approve of this. And, my daughter's mom, she says, my daughter, she sees me on TV and stuff, and, I totally understand.
Well, the judge raised Kronk's bond to $5,000. He must also wear a GPS tether. The state's largest brewery has reopened its Detroit taproom, looking to rebound after a public relations nightmare. The doors to Founders Brewing opened at 11 a.m. The taproom was closed last year after a former employee filed a racial discrimination suit. A settlement was later reached between the brewery and employee. Founders says profits over the next 3 years from the taproom will be donated to charities in Detroit. Now to the latest in that toxic ooze investigation. A legal battle is nearing the end in Oakland County. The city of Madison Heights wants Gary Sayers to pay for the demolition of the building that housed electroplating services. The court today heard more testimony about dangerous conditions inside the building. Closing arguments are now set for April 1st. Help Me Hank has been following the ooze investigation, and the Local 4 defenders are tracking contamination concerns along the Detroit River. This Sunday, make sure to watch Defending the Environment. See what we have uncovered and what is next in these environmental messes. That's Sunday at 8. President Donald Trump addressed the nation this afternoon, less than 24 hours after an acquittal in his impeachment trial. He came out swinging and celebrating.
I've done things wrong in my life, I will admit. Not purposely, but I've done things wrong. But this is what the end result is.
The president spoke for nearly 50 minutes. Kimberly Gill in the newsroom for more on what the president said, and also the latest with the president and Nancy Pelosi. Kim, or I should say Devin, I apologize about that.
Okay, Karen, no problem. Former President Bill Clinton was remorseful and apologetic after his acquittal in the U.S. Senate, you may recall. Not so with President Trump today. He led a partisan celebration at the White House, thanking his allies, denying any wrongdoing still, and blasting Democrats for dragging him through impeachment.
I took a phone call that was a totally appropriate call. I call it a perfect call, because it was. And they brought me to the final stages of impeachment. But now we have that gorgeous word. I never thought a word would sound so good. It's called total acquittal.
That phone call was with, of course, Ukraine's president, which the President Trump asked him for a favor to announce an investigation of the Bidens. Even some Republicans have said that that call was inappropriate, but not enough to convict President Trump. President and House Speaker were both at the prayer breakfast this morning. Nancy Pelosi did not back down over her very public shredding of the president's State of the Union speech the other night.
It was necessary to get the attention of the American people to say this is not true, and this is how it affects you. And I don't need any lessons from anybody, especially the President of the United States, about dignity.
So, Karen, each side digging in. Democrats have said they still may subpoena the former National Security Advisor John Bolton to talk about what he knows about the Ukraine situation. The battle likely to continue on Capitol Hill and thus on the campaign trail as well. Karen, back to you.
All right, we'll see you back here at 5. The chairman of the Democratic National Committee is calling for a recanvass of the Iowa caucuses. Tom Perez tweeted a message saying enough is enough. Right now, the race is too close to call, with former Mayor Pete Buttigieg and Senator Bernie Sanders in a virtual tie. Senator Elizabeth Warren is in 3rd and former Vice President Joe Biden in 4th. That's with 97% of the precincts reporting. Here at home, this man is turning 100 years old today. The milestone is even more remarkable when you consider where he came from, surviving the Holocaust. Today, he's ready to celebrate, but tells our Paula Tutman he also wants to make sure no one ever forgets a dark time in world history that tore his family apart.
What happened to me is 1 in a million.
His name is Wolf Gruka, and he's a living book of World War II and Holocaust history.
I say I work under the gun because even working in place, German soldiers used to stay around with the bayonets, ready to kill, ready to kill.
He is desperate to tell a story before age silences his voice forever. Today, he is 100. He will tell you there is more life behind him than in front of him. But he doesn't want anyone to forget what happened when he was a 19-year-old in Poland, when Jews were rounded up by Nazi Germany and stolen from their lives.
When they sent the people to the gas chamber, to the trains, in boxcars, parents are crying, hollering.
When he was forced onto that boxcar, he had a mother, father, 3 brothers, and 2 sisters. Now, he was a young toolmaker.
They sent us to the working camp.
But the rest of his family, save one brother, for all he knows, were marched to their deaths by rifle, starvation, or oven. But today, a quick break, a reason to celebrate. A man who for 5 years feared every single day was his last.
I hear on the loudspeaker, they're calling my name. So I was thinking for sure that I was at a killing camp. I took out the bayonet, and with the bayonet going to me, you walk. And they told us, like me, I was 2, to lay down with the face to the floor, and we lay down over there about 20 minutes. We step up, raise the face up, no more so.
And at the American House in Troy, there is a party to mark his incredible journey.
You gonna make a date with me?
Yeah. Today, he gets to dance as a 100-year-old.
I won't dance for sure.
Though the gift he seems to want most is simply to sit and, for as long as it takes, tell his story. All of it.
I need somebody that wants to listen to my story. It's not just for 1 day or the 1 week or the even 10 weeks. So my story is a story. And someone that wants to listen to a story.
Oh my, and he certainly has stories to tell. You know, I was doing a little bit of research, trying to figure out exactly how many Holocaust survivors might be left. But keep in mind, this is 75 years, this year marks 75 years after the liberation of Auschwitz, so they have to be dwindling. I never did find that number, but I can tell you that he has been trying to find a date for his party, and he believes that he'll be dancing at his 102nd birthday as well. Back to you.
Oh, Paula, what a wonderful story. I know he said he was looking forward to sitting down at his birthday. Were there any other special requests he wanted today to celebrate his special day?
You know, that's a great question. He has just been asking people to hear his story. And anybody who's willing to listen, he wants to tell them. And it's an important story to hear.
It most definitely is a story worth telling and sharing. Thank you, Paula. We appreciate it. Well, do you remember Elizabeth Smart? She was kidnapped and abused as a teenager. Up next, you won't believe what she says happened to her on an airplane. Her story and what she is doing about it. We survived the first wave of snow overnight, but Ben told you there is more to come. He's going to drill down on what you can expect. But first, here's Dr. McGeorge.
What you don't know can kill you. I'll tackle some misconceptions about heart disease. In Good Health, information that you'll want to share with all the women in your family.
The threats are real, and they affect everyone. That's why Local 4 is committed to defending the environment. Local 4 and Click on Detroit, getting results.
It's a new push to help women prevent heart disease and survive heart attacks. Tomorrow at 6 a.m., the critical message women need to hear and how you can help spread the word.